Hey Trevor, I got your note. So we got a null pointer exception here in the can pick up item method. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Looks like you tracked it down to the line that it's on. Let me just make sure what I got from you is breaking in the same place. So here we have take map and boink. Yeah, right here in can pick up item. So there's and I got the same null pointer exception, same line. So the null pointer exception, this call here is not returning null. If this call was returning a null, then item would be assigned the value null, and we would just go to the next line and it would check if item equals null and it would return a false. The reason you're getting a null pointer exception is that well, let's figure out why. Let's make sure. So I'm going to stick a breakpoint right here and close that out. I'm going to click over on this terminal window, and on the Mac I'm holding down the command key. On Windows it'll probably be the control key, and type K, and that clears that terminal window. So now when I run play again, I'll be sure that I'm not looking at some old error message. And I'm going to see if I can get myself to that same breakpoint. I'll say take map again. And so now I'm at this line that was giving me trouble before, but I have some debugger information that I can look at. And what it's telling me is that at this point, previous room is equal to null, and also current room is equal to null. Okay, so I'm in the player class. Current room is equal to null. So current room has not been set for the player. So let's take a look. I'm gonna just terminate, because then I know that's my issue. So basically, when you try to call a method on a null object, since current room is null, you can't call any methods on it, and it's going to come back and say, hey, there's no object there. It's null. That's why you get a null pointer exception. Okay. So why is current room null? Well, where current room would be probably set would be in game someplace, because we want to, the way you would set up the player's current room, right? We would be looking to the game class someplace to set the current room. So and it looks like it would be with a call to enter room, because that's where you're setting your current room, right? So let's see if we have any calls to enter. Oh, look. So right here, this tells me something. This is like a red flag right here, because game has a current room, a reference to a current room, and player also has a reference to a current room. Well, really, the responsibility for the current room should be in the player. It started out with our original design. Current room started out in the game class, but then once we decided to create a player, it makes sense for the player to be keeping track of what room he's in, right? So what we have right now then is current room being stored here. If we're only changing this current room, that's going to have no effect on the current room variable in the player class. Okay, so let's see here. Copy current room into here, paste. And okay, so this only sets, this doesn't do anything to the current room in the player class. This only sets the current room in our game object, okay? So here, again, when we enter room, we're not changing the room in the player class or in the player object. We're just changing the room in the game object. So the game object has a current room, but the player hasn't gotten one. And then here we're just accessing the current room. So we do need to use the current room in the game class still, but we want the player class to be responsible for it. So we're going to want to basically eventually get rid of this declaration right here in game and replace it with appropriate calls to player. So the first step that I would take in that direction is to create a private get current. Oops, it's going to be a room. Going to return a room. Get current room method. So for now, this is just going to return current room. I might already have one of these. Let me see. Return current room. Is there already? Let me check and see if there's. I'm going to say copy and no. Okay, so this is the only instance of it. So what I'm going to do is, as a first step in moving this this variable, this instance variable, completely out of game and replacing it with the player one, the first step I'm going to do is every place I have current room in the game class, except for right here, I'm going to replace it with the call to get current room. Okay, so I'm going to go through and find current room. There's 12 instances of it. So maybe I'll just do a global replace and then I'll fix up the ones that I need to fix up. So I'm going to do a global replace of current room with get current room. Do a replace all. Now this one's going to have to be fixed. So maybe I should have a, enter room, I think is what I'm going to put here. Enter room, because that'll set the current room to entrance, right? And then the only other places I need to worry about are this should not be a method, right? This should be current room. And this should be current room. Oh, and this should be not get current room, but just get current room. Okay. So let me see if that compiles. Okay, we had another enter room place. Yeah. So in enter room, that's where we also want to say current room equals next room, right? Okay, so basically what I did, notice there's this, I replaced in a bunch of places where there was get current room, I replaced it with this this method. So you can actually, instead of saying current room dot get long description, I can just have the method name in here and say get long description. So why I would want to do that is going to become clear in a second, but I just want to make sure that this still compiles. Okay, so it looks like it's still doing what I want it to do. Yeah, so why would I want to do that? Well, now what I can do is in get, I have these two methods. Actually, I'm going to move this over by where enter room is. Enter room. Because these kind of go together. Okay, this is kind of setting what the current room is. This is just getting the current room. Okay, so what I want to do is, instead of having the game maintain the current room, I want to have the player taking care of that. So let's see, my player's name is Tom. So I'm going to replace this, because remember now in player I have an enter room method, right? In player, yeah, there's an enter room method. So I'm gonna replace this one with Tom dot enter room, and I have to call it with the same parameter, the next room. Oh, you know though, well, for now we'll leave it like this. No, actually, I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to keep the printing because I want to keep all the sysout stuff in game. So I'm gonna take this out of player, and player is just going to the enter room for player is just going to set values, and then this enter room will actually do my sysout stuff. And then for get current room, oh, I need a get current room in here, it looks like. Do I have one? Let's see, get current room. No, okay. So I'm gonna stick I'm gonna copy this over here. Okay, so now I can get the current room from the player. So I'm just going to return Tom dot get current room. Okay, and I think that takes care of all my references to this guy. So let me just make sure if I compile. Oh, private access. I got to make that public. Okay, it looks like it compiled, no errors. So I'm going to get rid of this reference right here. So now I think we're good. Let me see. Game, create player. And when I say create rooms, I enter that room. Okay, well let's see if that does what we need it to do. I'm going to terminate, make sure that's terminated and just quit out of that. I'm going to restart this, or clear this. And now, let's see what we get. Oh, now I got a null pointer exception for Tom. So where do I set the player? Ah, that's in create player. Ah, okay, so I'm doing create player at the end, it looks like. So if I move create player up above create rooms, that means I'll have a player before I create the rooms. And see what's happening is where is it? Bomb. It's a null pointer exception because I haven't Tom is null at this point. So the way to make sure that Tom is not null, see, Tom gets this value in the player in the method create player. So if I move create player up above create rooms, then Tom will have a value. Tom will have been Tom will be referring to this player that I created. So that should work. So let's compile that and Command K and try again. Let's see, compile, new game. You are in. Oh, this is. Okay, I got to figure out why that got printed out. But let's see if a take map works. Ah, so it says this item's too heavy to pick up. So looks like the take worked. I'm not clear on why this got called up here. So it looks like something is going on in the constructor. Maybe in create rooms. Where does that get called? You are in the entrance. Oh, when you do an enter room, huh? So you know what? If we just called the enter room that belongs to Tom, because see, right now enter room prints this out, right? But remember the one that we called to Tom, that enter room in there, just doesn't do any of this. It just sets the current player. So let's stick that in there. Tom.enter room and compile it. Oh, can't compile while we're running. So let me quit. Okay, Command K. Now I can compile. Yeah. So let's make a new game. Play. So now we didn't get that mess. You know, that sys out stuff from the constructor. And there we go. Now we're set. We can go north. Oh, we can go east. I have a brochure, so let me see if I can take the brochure. Oh, that's too heavy also. Alright, so let me see what's not too heavy. Or how do we figure out if an item is too heavy? Can pick up, right? So if the total weight what's our max weight? Let's see. Max weight. Oh, yeah, if you never set your max weight, it's going to be 0. So that's going to be a problem. Everything's going to be too heavy to pick up. So you need to set it up. Probably a reasonable place to set it up is in your constructor. So you can say this max weight equals, I don't know, whatever makes sense for your game. I don't know what the weights of your individual things are, but so let's quit out of here and compile. So maybe where you create your items, where do you create your items? Let's see, find item. Create the items. So, oh, I see. So you have 10, 2, 5. All right. So let's make our max weight be like 7 or something. Okay. So that has to have a value, and then you can. So Command K, compile. New game and play. Okay, so now we should be able to take the map. Okay, we picked up the map. And now if I go north, go east. Let's see, can we take the brochure? Yeah. Go west. Go north again. Now I think I should be maxed out on my weights. Let me see if I take food. It's too much. Okay, good. So, all right. So I hope that helps, and good luck in your future endeavors with Zuul. And don't forget to email me if you have any more questions.